Hey guys, welcome to Braddels Gaming and to another episode of the Far Cry 5 Community Creation series. In this series, I feature other people's maps from the Far Cry 5 arcade. Whilst I want to start prioritizing more of my own custom map creations on this channel, I think it's good to come back to this series to highlight the creativity of other Far Cry map creators, and today's map does just that. But before we get into today's map, if you'd like to find out more about my 8-month absence from YouTube, or you want to see me finish off a custom built fast food restaurant in the Far Cry 5 map editor, be sure to view my latest channel update and the part 2 speed build of Food vs Fuel, which both released last weekend. But to today's map, this is Omega Garrison by Pelican 470 on Xbox, a TDM map inspired by Far Cry Blood Dragon. Now, what I like to do with these videos is at the start show off some cinematics of the map to hopefully really immerse you in the amazing environment or atmosphere that the creator has made. Then after the cinematics roll, I show you gameplay of the map. However, where in previous renditions of the Community Creation series I showed you my entire gameplay of the map, I've decided this year to cut down the gameplay in this series to show less stagnant parts of the gameplay and more highlights to make the video more concise and engaging for you. What won't change, however, is that in every episode I try to give some pros and cons about each map. This isn't always necessarily for the creator though. It's not lost to me that most of these creators probably don't play Far Cry 5 anymore given how old it is, so probably won't see this feedback. But I think each map really gives those of us still around really good case studies to see what works and what doesn't in a Far Cry map, just like I experience with my own custom map creations. Sometimes things work great, other times they don't, but that's all part of the journey as a Far Cry map builder. But what does this map, Omega Garrison by Pelican 470, do so well? 3 things: great pacing, high gameplay variety, and lit neon lighting. Let's start with pro number 1, great pacing. The map size is great. This lends itself to games being played on this map that are not too slow paced or fast paced. These types of maps on either end of the scale still have their place, but personally I really enjoy maps that are able to meet the needs of players from all kinds of play styles, whether that is that you're a more slower exploration type of player or a faster action type of player. This map's pacing lets players really choose how quick or slow they want to jump into the action. And this pairs with the next pro, which is gameplay variety. The map does a great job of catering to different game styles, including giving players all the tools they need. The loadouts are stacked, which is important in a PvP like the Far Cry 5 arcade, where the map creator chooses what weapons the player can use. Again, some maps are better suited to having less weapons, but this map is not one of them, and the creator recognizes the need to have a variety of different weapons the players can choose to wield. There's also some really powerful pickups around the map, which encourages players to explore the map, increasing player movement across the map, which also ties into the last pro about pacing. Aside from the pickup weapons, there's also mortars, turrets and vehicles, and with a road that traces around the map's building structure, or main building structure, it makes for very easy vehicular transportation and combat. There's also many raised platforms across the entire map, and elevated terrain on the northern fringe, giving players access to verticality and different angles to shoot from. And just to throw everyone into even more panic, there's a bunch of bloodthirsty blood dragons roaming around the map. Not too many that it's excessively crazy, but not too few that it barely has any impact. Of course, it makes sense for a map based on Blood Dragon to have blood dragons, but as a long-time map creator I know how easy it is to sometimes miss even the bigger details of the map. The final pro for this video, but certainly not the last on the map, is how the inspired 80s neon lighting has been strategically placed around the map by the creator to really bring the entire map together. Because imagine this map without the lighting. It would still look pretty good, but also very bare. Again, it's the result of the map being inspired by Blood Dragon, but any kind of lighting takes a lot of patience to install and get right in the map editor, which is certainly a lot more patience than I ever would have working with lighting myself. In fact, to this day, I don't think I've ever built a map based at nighttime. Maybe that changes in 2025, but we'll have to wait and see on that front. Nonetheless, the lighting really emphasizes some of the key structures in the map, whilst also paying homage to the red beams in Blood Dragon that symbolized enemy outposts, which the creator has added some extra ones in the surrounding area around the map, indicating to the player that the map extends far beyond the playable area, which also helps to solidify that larger world immersion. Now moving into the cons of the map, which are really just recommendations, but my number one con, or recommendation, is the shared spawn points. You will notice in the gameplay a time where I spawned in right next to an enemy that was AFK, killed them and one of their teammates, only to run into the same enemy player 10 seconds later at another spawn point very close by and get killed by them right after I killed them. I suppose that's a bit of karma on me for killing the first player that was AFK, but unless it was the editor acting up, which is entirely possible, I feel like the shared spawn points in Far Cry 5 always prioritize spawning enemy players the furthest away from other enemy players, and if this was the case in this map, you wouldn't have the spawning situation I had, like you see in the gameplay. If there was a shared spawn point somewhere else in the map, it would likely spawn me or the enemy player that I just killed, that killed me back very shortly after, there, rather than in super close proximity like it did. So I'd recommend to the creator to add more shared spawn points around. It's a pretty sizable map, so there should be no shortage of SSP areas, shared spawn point areas, I don't know why I shortened that, but there you go, to avoid that endlessly repeating cycle of spawn killing. And then my second recommendation for the map would be to lower the score limit. The gameplay shown had a full lobby for most of the game, and despite the map feeling like a great pace, you can't help but feel that the score limit is a little too high. The final score was something like 64 to 53 out of 100, I can't exactly remember, but it definitely didn't reach anywhere near the 100 mark. And so I think reducing the score limit to 60 or 70 would really help to give players an achievable target to shoot for, whilst making the game feel more high octane towards the end of a game, when players from both teams feel like they're just a little bit more motivated to try and get to the achievable target score of 60 or 70, instead of feeling a little bit lethargic to a hefty out of reach 100. That's the end of the commentary, but you can continue to watch the rest of the gameplay highlights if you like. I hope you enjoyed the map and video. This was Omega Garrison by Pelican470 on the Xbox, a team deathmatch map. If you liked either the map or video, be sure to check out the map if you're on Xbox, and be sure to like this video and subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want more Far Cry content. You're very welcome here, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments if you'd like to say hi. But I'm Braddels Gaming, I'm signing out now, and as always, have yourselves a great day.
Victory is imminent. Victory is imminent.